Hello people on camera 2. There we are. Hello folks, how are you all doing today? It's great to be here. Let's get over to the main camera. Come on, we don't want that one. Get over to the main one. That's what we're here for. There we go. There's the digital DJ tip shot we all know and love. Looking a bit dim today though, actually. Anyway, people, hello, welcome. It's me, Phil, here for Tuesday Tips Live once more. And today we're talking about streaming services, music streaming services. Is it about time you subscribe to one as a DJ? So we're going to talk about why now's the time to be talking about this, all the reasons why it's a good idea. We're also going to look at the other side and look at some reasons why maybe it isn't a good idea to be using streaming music in your DJ sets. And also we're going to look at the best practices for doing it, stuff that we teach our students, stuff that we've learned ourselves about how to integrate streaming music into your DJing properly and not trip up on some of the pitfalls. We'll mention the big streaming services, but if this is a popular broadcast this week, then next week we'll look in more depth at all the big services, the pros and cons of the services, which ones are in which software and which hardware and that kind of thing. Just depends on how well it goes down this week. All right, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you're watching the replay of this on YouTube and thinking, get to the point, mister, this is a show. You're watching the recording of a show. It's about half an hour long and we have a lot of audience interaction with the people watching this live and so on. So that's why we have all the preamble and that's why it's a bit longer than a normal YouTube video. And if you are watching the replay and you thought, I want it to be there live, well look, subscribe, hit notify, follow the page, hit show posts first, do all that stuff, and it means that you'll get notified when we go live. And if you haven't got a clue what this is all about, we are Digital DJ Tips, the world's biggest online DJ school, the people behind Rock the Dance Floor, which you will see on Amazon, Audible, Kindle, all those places, best-selling book on how to DJ. But our job is to help you become better DJs and better DJ producers, and we do that through digitaldjtips.com, the website, which is one of the biggest tech websites in the world for DJing. Also, we do it through our DJ courses. We have 22 DJ courses with more imminent. I'll tell you about one of those before the end of today that's just about to be launched. And we also do it through our free tuition on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, on Mixcloud Live. Hi Mixcloud Live people, every Tuesday and Thursday at this time. So, if you want to see us DJing, tune in on Sundays. There's no show this Sunday, but next Sunday I'll be doing a DJ set about an hour later than the time now. Wherever you are in the world, an hour later, same channels apart from Facebook, because we can't do it on Facebook. We will be broadcasting music as well. So that's us, that's what we do. Welcome, especially if you're new, good to have you here. All right then, so today we're going to talk about why it's a great idea to have a streaming service in your DJing, why maybe you shouldn't, or at least the pitfalls that you ought to be aware of if you want to do this. And finally, we're going to talk about best practices, the best way to integrate them, the best way to make the most of a streaming service based upon what our students do, what we do, and what we've seen working with DJs who do this a lot. And that's today, so welcome. Before we get started, I just want to do the usual early hellos to people over on the camera here, which is looking very bright. I can't work out whether this one's bright or the other one is, let's dim that one down a bit. The other one is too dark. Anyway, welcome. DJ Decanus says, yes, we should be using streaming services. That is a very simple one. Next video, please. No, well, we're going to go into a bit more depth than that, but thank you for that. Hi to Ethan and to Jack on YouTube, and to Alex and Air and Jamar and Michael and Cookie over on YouTube, and to Graham and Gustavo there as well. On Facebook, we've got Nikki and Marcus, who's in Portsmouth, and we've got DJ DC Toronto over there on Twitch. Good to have you here. I'm just picking names at random. We've got too many people to say hello to. Michael's down the road in Gibraltar. Well, you're definitely worth a mention, Michael. We're up the road in Gibraltar, but anyone who knows Gibraltar knows that Michael and myself are extremely close to each other. A lot of you saying good topic. Well, it's very good to be bringing you this topic. DJ DC Zone 1 says, hey Phil, I love the beach house set this past Sunday. Just curious as to how you were able to show individual comments on the screen during your stream. We use a program called Ecamm Live to do all that stuff. And hi to Chris on YouTube in Manchester. I'm picking people at random, so just thanks everyone for saying hello. All right then, let's get on to the topic. Oh, and over on Mixcloud, hi to Silver in Australia and DJ LV2D who says, hey Phil, I love this topic. Awesome. So, all right then. Let's get talking about it, and to do that we'll go back to the training area if you like. All right then, so DJing with streaming services, why would you want to do it? You know, DJs who've got a music collection that they've spent years building up are like, well, why on earth would I want to plug in an unreliable streaming service and DJ from that. I don't get it, and quite rightfully, you know, that's a completely legitimate point of view. So let me give you 5 reasons why actually it's a good idea for DJs to use streaming services. And you know, the first one is based around the truth, which is not all DJs are the same. So if you're a brand new DJ, you're a music lover who wants to get into DJing, and you've maybe spent a few years with Spotify or Apple Music or Tidal or any of those services building up your music collection, and you want a DJ, and you get yourself a little Pioneer DJ 200 or something, and there's a little app on your phone to DJ with that comes with it, and you think awesome, and you think, right, how do I get Spotify into it? That's where you come unstuck, right? Because you don't actually own any music. You're a streaming service user. Now, there's a joke in DJing that says well, it's not even a joke. It says DJing is 10 years behind the real world. You know, CDs kind of arrived in the DJ booth 10 years after they arrived for everyone else. And it's the same with streaming, I think. You know, Spotify is 10 years old now. And we're at the point now where it's becoming usual for DJs to want to DJ with streaming services, because the people getting into DJing have grown up with them and they've never collected music. So my first point is that streaming services lower the barriers of entry into DJing for people who were brought up with streaming music. I was brought up buying music. I've got a box of records down there. I was brought up paying for records and getting something physical, and then a physical CD. And even when I switched to digital in 2005, I was still using bought music. You know, you buy an MP3 and it's in your collection, it belongs to you. That's gone now, folks. Maybe for you watching this and me, where I'm from and the age I'm from, it hasn't, but it has for the new generations. So another example, my wife said, when I went away to some glamorous DJ convention somewhere one time, she said, look, I really need to learn to DJ. While you're gone, I'm going to have a go. Can you set me up with some DJ gear? So I did, and she said, well, how do I get my music into it? And I said, well, you haven't got any music. She's like, I have. I've got tons of playlists from, what do you think I listen to when I go running? She's an ultra runner, so she goes running for like half a day. And I'm like, I don't know, Spotify? She's like, yeah, there's my music. I'm like, it's not how it works. And I suddenly realized how stupid it was. That's not how it works. Well, it does now. Admittedly, not with Spotify or Apple Music, but with lots of other services like that. So the first point is it lowers the barriers to entry for people who want to get into DJing. And that, by the way, is a good thing. So the second point, look, maybe you've already got a streaming service. Maybe you already use Tidal or Deezer, or you're already a Beatport user or whatever. Look, you're already on these platforms anyway. It's not a big leap to plug it into your DJ software if your DJ software or your DJ hardware is compatible with that service. So why the hell wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? You know, it's there. It's like, put the two things together. So over time, they're just going to be available, and we're just going to have a streaming service. I mean, I hope as a DJ, you consider having one, even if you wouldn't even think of DJing with it. We'll move on to that in a bit. So why wouldn't you plug it in? As it becomes more ubiquitous, as it becomes more common, more normal, more widespread, it's just one of those things. So why the hell wouldn't you plug it in? My third reason why you should consider getting a streaming service is it helps you to explore new genres and new musical styles that otherwise you maybe wouldn't find, or that you wouldn't go out and invest the money in the music for, because there's no comeback. So let's say you're an open format hip hop and pop DJ playing mainly weddings. I'm just making these things up, by the way, but let's say that's you. But you get a feeling for deep house. Now, you've only got a certain amount of money to spend on music. You're probably going to spend that on the music that gets you the gigs, right? Your hip hop and your pop. But you really want to mess around with deep house. That's where you feel your heart's going. Well, look, with a streaming service, no problem. Dial up a few deep house playlists, start liking a few deep house artists and charts and stuff, and start messing around with that music in your DJ gear. No need to go and buy it. No need to commit to it. Just mess around with it. I've discovered so much new music in styles that I never thought anything of just by what's popped up in my streaming software, and long may be it. So just for exploring and then DJing with new genres for nothing more than the pure joy of it, it's great to have a streaming service. So number 4 is something that I'm sure all the mobile DJs watching this will be nodding along vigorously to when you hear it, is it allows you to play requests. The number of mobile and especially wedding DJs that I've spoken to who have an iPad with a lead in it plugged into a spare channel at the back of their DJ controller, just in case someone important wants a record playing that they haven't got, and they can dial it up on Spotify, hit play, mix it in, mix it out afterwards, and then get back to DJing with their computer or whatever. You know, nowadays DJ software has got certain streaming services built into it, so you don't need to have a hack like that. You can just have it there and waiting. But if you have to play requests or play music that you wouldn't otherwise buy, then a streaming service is great because it helps you to do that without having to remember in advance to get that music. Or, you know, let's say you're asked to play a half-hour Greek traditional music segment at a Greek wedding, right? And the rest of it's what you normally do. Well, are you going to go and buy all that music, or are you just going to go and get a playlist and play it from the playlist? I would suggest the playlist might be the best choice for that. So point 4 was, you know, it's an easy way to play requests. And look, point 5 is possibly the biggest one. I have had so much fun with something like this. A DJ app, We DJ from Pioneer, and a little DJ controller, or with Algorithms DJ for iOS, and a little speaker, sat at a barbecue or something. We're all sat down after the meal. Someone pulls the phone out. Oh, I've brought my DJ controller with me. We start messing around with music. We're going around everyone. What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear? By the end of the night, we've been playing music for 5 or 6 hours. No one's got anywhere near a record collection. It's all from streaming, and who cares? A lot of the downsides of streaming, which we're going to move on to in a minute, they don't make a blind bit of difference when you're just DJing for fun. So my 5th point is DJing with streaming music is just fun. Why wouldn't you? It's a DJ's wet dream to have 50 million tracks and some decks in front of them. What DJ wouldn't want all the music in the world and some record decks to play it on, or some DJ decks to play it on, right? You know, that's what this is missing. Without the music, it's nothing, as my wife realised quite quickly and said, oh, I can't be bothered with all that buying music. Plugging your streaming stuff into something like this is absolutely brilliant because it just means you can play for fun. And isn't DJ meant to be fun? Right, so there's the 5 reasons I think why we should all consider getting a streaming service. Before we move on to the why nots or the pitfalls of doing this, I want to get your early comments and feedback on this. And if you've just joined us, it's Tuesday Tips Live and we're talking, is it the right time for you to subscribe to a streaming service, a music streaming service to use in your DJing? Okay, folks, let's talk about this and let's see what you've got to say about it. So, Alex says, streaming is a nice to have. I have used it and it saved my bacon with the odd request. Well, there we go. That's exactly what we were talking about, wasn't it, Alex? The request reason for this. All right, then, the next one is for from DJ Chris, who just says, checking in from Norway. It's an interesting topic and I've followed 27 years of DJ evolution. You know, a lot of people from the older school of DJing are the most resistant to this, but it's good to see that you're up with this and enjoying it, so thank you for that, Chris. All right then, so DJ Pro is a good choice for mixing with streaming services. Rekordbox sometimes crashes when I use Beatport Link, says Gustavo, so thank you for that little piece of info there. All right then, so the next question, and I'm going to answer this in respect of streaming services, is from Hellaby Bob, who says, which is the best, virtual DJ, Tractor or Rekordbox for a hobby DJ? If you want to use streaming services, virtual DJ is the best because it's got a mainstream one, Deezer. None of them have got Spotify, none of them have got Apple Music. I know, that's just how it is. But virtual DJ has Deezer, which is a pretty good mainstream one. It has SoundCloud Go, it has Beatport Link, it has BeatSource Link, but it also has some pro services in it, iDJ Pro, and it also has a video and a karaoke service as well. So for pure number of services, virtual DJ wins that one. All right then, so the next bit of feedback is from Chris, who says, no, definitely not use streaming. It'd be nice to know why, Chris. That'd be awesome. Michael uses Tidal with his new Prime Go. Let me grab the Prime Go and I'll explain to you what is unique. What is unique about this unit? So the Prime Go and the Prime 2 and the Prime 4, but look, isn't this cute? Isn't this cute, folks? Battery powered Wi-Fi. So you can turn this on and you can log into a Wi-Fi network and DJ with Tidal or SoundCloud Go directly from the unit, which is pretty cool. Remember I said this is all going to be fun? It's also interesting because the Denon DJ Engine OS hardware, which is the Prime Go, the Prime 2, the Prime 4 and the SC5000s and the SC6000s, can all do that. And they're the first DJ hardware that will let you use streaming services without software. All the other streaming services they work on your software, Serato, Rekordbox and so on. But this is hardware, this works with hardware, which is really exciting, and it's certainly showing the way forward. I don't think it'll be too long before Pioneer's doing that, for instance. Hi to Geo Bro, by the way, good to see you finally catching this live. All right then. So if you Google it, it says Lee, you can get 3 months free Tidal in the UK for new users. So there's a good tip. I was working on my playlist. I guess you mean streaming playlist. When I saw the notification for this live stream, says JK8th. So all right then, cool. So Juice just says, thank you, Phil. You're a very helpful person. Well, it's what we're here for. Keaton says, I use streaming when I was at my student flat for parties. Internet connection was brilliant, but since wanting to play live events, I certainly think a month on a DJ pool is worth it. Yeah, it's not an either or. I think DJ pools, where you download music from a subscription pool, are brilliant. And in fact, iDJ Pro, which is plugged into, is it called iDJ Pro? I think it is, which is plugged into Virtual DJ, is a DJ pool that also lets you stream, which is pretty cool. It's the only one that's like that. So thank you. Jason's saying it's a shame there's no platforms supported by Spotify anymore. It is. I think Spotify and Apple Music just don't really care enough about DJs to support it, which is a shame. So apparently it still works in algorithm. Well, make hay while the sun shines. I noticed that today as well, actually. I noticed you can still sign in, but it's not official anymore in algorithm. All right then, so DJ pools versus streaming services, what's the difference? Okay, a DJ pool, you pay a subscription and you can download unlimited, normally new music every month, but you're downloading it, putting it on your hard drive. The subscriptions are generally a lot more than streaming services. And so it's a bit like a record shop where you just pay one monthly fee. So it's a bit like going to Beatport and Beatport saying, hey, give us 50 bucks a month, you download what you want. That's effectively what a DJ download pool is, although the music tends to be newer, because I won't go into it now, but just trust me. So the difference with the streaming service is you're plugging into 50 million tracks or whatever it is, and you can just play them from the internet, and we'll talk about the differences between the way you play them, whether you actually need the internet to be live to do it and not, in a minute. So that's the difference really. And Tidal, Deezer, these are mainstream names that you can plug in, and as people are saying, Spotify used to be one of them. Whereas DJ download pools are more specialized. They tend to be for professional DJs, and you get advanced promos, you get DJ friendly edits and that kind of thing from them. If you can afford it, have both. They're both brilliant. All right then, I'm an old dinosaur, says Nikki. I'm sure you're not Nikki. I started on vinyl, then CDJs, and now I use MP3s on a USB, but I don't think I'd want to stream that music. I'm not that tech savvy. Well, look, you're using MP3s on a USB, you're pretty tech savvy, it's not difficult. Maybe we can change your mind. Does Tidal have a good house and techno selection? It's all right, as good as Spotify's. The best for that is Beatport Link. All right then. Alan says, great topic. I would use music streaming services if all tracks were formatted with intros and outros like the MP3 pools. That's the big thing about streaming services. They only tend to have the radio edits. Sometimes I'll have the extended versions, the 12-inch versions, but yeah, it's a good point. The DJ is 10 years behind the real world. I've never heard that before, and I've never actually looked at it like that, but it's frazzled my brain, says Mark. Yeah, in lots of ways it's true. All right then, so David has just pointed out something that I'll share with you all. If you're on one streaming service and you want to move all your music to another, maybe because the DJ software you want to use uses another, you can use something called Soundies, which will move it. And there's other services as well. I think there's Free Your Music is another one, and there's one called MuseConv, I think, MUSCONV. So yes, well pointed out. All right then, so lots of you are old vinyl people who are saying either that you like it or you don't. Noel is someone who actually seems to like this, so cutting to the end, saying you use streaming services to see if you want to buy something. Well, we're going to move on to what I consider to be the best practices for using streaming services in a minute. DJ Feta keeps an iPad hooked up for requests. Yep, we know where you're at there. Christian uses Deezer, makes playlists, and after that downloads locally and plays with Virtual DJ. One of the top DJ softwares with many, many innovations. So Christian, can you cache your tracks locally on Virtual DJ from Deezer? Can you have them offline, to play them without an internet connection? Share that with me, please. I didn't know you could do that. All right then. There are so many comments. Lots of people are obviously very into this. Ian says streaming services are more democratic and open up many more creative options for us. for relatively little money. It's kind of one of my points, wasn't it? I do like to dig through tunes when I'm on the train and compose playlists on my phone for when I get to my decks. That said, software integration varies incredibly, says Ollie. It's true, it does. Lots of you know Spotify and DJ Pro was amazing, says someone over on Global DJ Network. It's true, and it's a shame it's gone. You know, DJ Pro was everyone's favorite second DJ software for that reason, I think. Let's just have one or two more of your questions here, or your points. There's a good point from Nicholas, who says royalties and payments are not the same revenue flow from purchasing music versus streaming. It's true, but that is a much bigger argument, isn't it? And the argument is already 10 years gone for the rest of the world. But yes, it's a very true point. All right then. Denon incorporating it has changed the way I DJ, says Michael. Well, there you go. So it really has. You know, the way Denon DJ has done it in hardware is definitely the future. So Mike says there's so much wrong with this. A DJ's job is to pick good music to rock the party. If everyone gets their music from the same spot, DJs will become robots. Larry Levan didn't buy from the same store. Well, look, that's true, Mike. I see what you're saying there. But there's an awful lot of music on these services. And really, it's the way you use the service that decides what on earth's the music for you. What, you know, a lot of people play old music and other people are like, where did you get this from? And you're like, dude, it's 20 years old. They didn't even realize. Also, there's a lot of services which have got different music. For instance, SoundCloud as a streaming service, SoundCloud Go Plus, which is available in a lot of software, gives you access to a lot of the SoundCloud music that's unsigned. I know DJs who only play music from SoundCloud because they don't want people to know, they don't want to play the stuff everyone else is playing. Well, now that's in your streaming software. Beatport is in your streaming software. And of course, Mike, a lot of DJs are mobile DJs and they need access to the current hits. So as I started with at the beginning, not all DJs are the same. And one DJ's love is going to be another DJ's hate. We're not all doing the same thing for the same reasons. But of course, Mike, crate digging is hugely important. And again, I'm going to talk about that a bit in a minute. If music's good enough to play out, then I own a copy personally. Again, I kind of agree with you there. And again, we're going to move on to that in a second. We need a way to compile playlists to incorporate songs from multiple streaming services. You can do it in Rekordbox. In Rekordbox, you just start a playlist. If you subscribe to several services, drag all the files in. So that does work in Rekordbox. All right then. I'm actually going to move on now. There's lots and lots of good comments here that I would like to get to, but I want to get to the reasons why not to, because I want to give a balanced kind of coverage here. So let's do that now. Let's talk about the reasons why maybe you shouldn't be, or you should be wary of streaming services. So number one is the legality of it. A lot of these services you're not meant to DJ in public on. In Virtual DJ, certainly the last time I checked, when you go and sign up for Deezer and log into Deezer, it says for personal use only, not for public. Now, if you look in the small print on Beatport and BeatSource, and probably on other download stores, it also says that. It says for personal use, not for performance in public. It's lawyer speak, but I'm no lawyer and I'm not going to argue with them. And if you're someone who likes to do it by belt and braces, well look, a lot of these services and a lot of digital music in general, you're not meant to play in public. Now, the truth is, if the venue has a public performance license, which is different acronyms wherever you are in the world, but it's the same thing, the venue is licensed, you're allowed to play music there. You're allowed to, a singer's allowed to pick up a microphone and sing someone else's songs there. A DJ is allowed to play what they want there. But in the letter of the law, a lot of these services, you're not meant to do that in public. So the legality of it is different to the legality of owning records or CDs. As I say, it gets blurry with MP3s anyway, but that's how it is. So bear that in mind. The second reason, but it should be the first one really, the internet, right? Here we've got brilliant internet. I broadcast week in, week out. Watch it go off now. I broadcast week in, week out, and I have done for 5 years. We don't have any problems. Most clubs aren't like that. You know, the best clubs, Ministry of Sound and the clubs that we film in down here, they've got fibre internet, broadband, fibre internet with Ethernet straight into the DJ booth. Wired, no problem. You can use streaming services there. They broadcast their DJ sets live from the booth out to the world from there. Great. But we all know most DJ booths and most clubs aren't like that. The best, you might get shared public Wi-Fi, not good for DJing on. Look, that's all going to change. Internet in DJ booths will be as common as power within a few years. And 5G is going to make that something that people just expect. Fast internet everywhere all the time. We're not there yet. Now, not all services need the internet. Beatport Link and BeatSource Link have got offline lockers on the mid and high tiers anyway, which let you hold pathetically small number of tunes, actually 50 and 100 depending on what tier you're on, offline. But that's just the start. All services will allow you to have a cached offline version, so you can basically go into your streaming service when you're preparing your sets, get all the playlists you want to play tonight, click make available offline. You won't be able to take them off your computer or burn them or anything, but you will be able to play them in your DJ software without the internet. But the internet is a big hang up. Now, a lot of the services will let you load a whole track and play it, and if the internet does drop, it will still let you finish the track. So, you know, if you're playing a mixture of your own music and streaming music, no big problem. But nonetheless, the internet is a big no for a lot of people. Totally understood. Number 3 has been touched on already by someone on one of our comments. There are no DJ versions on these services. Now, Beatport, which is underground dance music, well, look, they are DJ versions. It's underground dance music, right? So Beatport Link, no problem. BeatSource, which is co-owned by DJ City, it's a joint venture between Beatport and DJ City, an open format streaming service. Now, you would think that a DJ City joint owned open format streaming service would have all those juicy outro edits, short edits, clean versions, DJ edits, DJ tools that you find on a download pool. No, none of them are on there because the licensing is so damned hard for that stuff. Now, they tell me that they want that and they're working towards that, but it's not there yet. The only DJ streaming service where you can get that kind of material is IDJ, I think it's called IDJ Pro, IDJ Pro download pool in Virtual DJ, which has got that, but it's unusual. So apart from that, no, there are no DJ versions. Now, another thing that you might not realize, but you probably actually have seen it if you've had a DJ streaming service for any length of time, my point number 4, tunes disappear. Have you ever gone to a playlist that you made a year ago and noticed that some of the tracks are grayed out? Nowadays, some of the streaming services will hide the tracks you can't play, but normally there is an option to show them again. And that's no good, right? If you have carefully constructed playlists of tracks that mean a lot to you and they're just not there next time you open your software, that's no good for DJs. It's annoying if you're a consumer, but it's a deal breaker for DJs. And the reason is that the streaming services have licenses in place with the record labels. And when those licenses expire or when they're renegotiating and the material drops off, it's like Netflix, right? You can't get all the films on Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu and all the other services. They're always battling among each other to do exclusive deals and stuff will move to another platform. It's the same with the streaming services. So your tunes are not guaranteed to always be there. Again, big no-no, right, for DJs. And number 5, and this is probably creatively the biggest one. So I'm going to take a deep breath and ask you to come with me on this one. Part of the job of a DJ is to discover, shortlist, buy, learn, curate, and then finally play the world's music to the best of their ability. Your job is to hear more music than anyone else, have your own view on that music, learn that music, only buy the good stuff, and then select from the good stuff, the right stuff for the people in front of you right now. It's a lifetime's work and it's never finished. In the book, we talk about it. We actually have something called the playlist pyramid, which you will see. If I put it on the overhead camera, I can probably show you the playlist pyramid. It's this pyramid here, which talks about there's all the world's music at the bottom, then we have the music you've heard, music you've shortlisted, music you've actually bought, music you've packed for the gig, and of that music, the music you actually play at the gig. And this pyramid is like a filter system, which means the people at your gig hearing your music are hearing the very, very best of you. And that, my friends, more than mixing, is what DJing is all about. Now contrast that with loading up a David Guetta curated playlist on Deezer and sitting there playing track after track to your audience. You can do that with streaming services, and I'm going to argue it is a horrible, horrible thing to do. Nothing against David Guetta, just the whole bloody idea of loading up DJ playlists that other DJs have made and DJing with those playlists and calling it you. It isn't you, and it's not what DJing is about. And the problem is there is a laziness in DJing that this is encouraging. So music being given to you unlimited with playlists and charts and top 100s, and it's all there for you, is not necessarily a good thing. In the right hands, a streaming service with that extra sprinkle of greatness on top of what the DJ already owns is great. In the wrong hands, I don't like at all the way it's sending some DJs, because it's cutting out the whole fun bit in the middle of discovering, curating, learning, owning those tunes as if they're a part of you, an extension of who you are. And that's really important in DJing. So that's a good reason why not. You know, if you think you're just going to get lazy and load up the top 100 tunes and smack them all on the playlist and that's you done, don't do it. Spend a bit more time on it. Stick to buying tunes. Keep the discipline of shortlisting tunes, spending your own money on each individual tune, because then at least you know that they're stuff you really want. Right, okay, I've got 5 best practices on streaming music, but before we get to those, we're going to go up for some more of your comments. So people, what are you thinking? Let's see. So, wow, we are busy today. Spot on, fella, says Chris. Thank you for that. Is your book available as an ebook or an audiobook? Yes, it is, anonymous Facebook user. You can get it on Audible. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it on Amazon, and you can also just buy it in bookshops. So there's an audiobook version and an ebook version, as well as that version I was showing you then. Thank you for that. Someone else says, I definitely recommend Phil's book. I loved it. Well, thank you very much for that. So DJ Pepper says, Phil, what do you feel about taking the playlist from a favourite set and practicing reproducing that set? Oh, look, copying DJs is great. Playing all your DJ sets from playlists you found online is not great. I think, you know, we copy inside our Digital DJ Lab music DJ training program. We deconstruct other DJs' mixes and teach them all the time. I think that's brilliant. But there's a time and place for it, right? So Mike says, oh, sorry, Mike's chatting to someone else. It's lovely when you guys chat to each other. Yeah, Tractor doesn't have streaming services at all. It's not because they assume it's for DJs in the club and club DJs create their own music. It's because they haven't fitted it, because they can't, frankly. I've spoken to them about it. They would love to have a streaming service in Tractor. In fact, Tractor DJ, the new version of Tractor they're developing, has got streaming in it, and that will soon come to replace Tractor as Tractor reaches the end of its life and the new software develops. So all right, DJing is a real art. I've been doing it for 30 years. I agree it's a real art. I will argue to the death that DJing is an art. It's an art that I've pinned my life on, and I you know, it's why I do this, to teach it properly, to get it through to people how it should be done. So all right then, let's not go too much down the line of is DJing an art, because we all believe it's an art. We all know it's an art, don't we? All right then, so more of your questions. 3 lines on a shirt says, privatizing the internet. All music should be accessible to everyone as long as you buy it. I don't understand why you shouldn't be able to play it. This is about the licensing stuff. That's always been the way. Venues have always been licensed. It gets royalties to the people involved in making the tune. It's just the way it is. All right then, Leroy, streaming is the way forward and possibly 10 years in the future. My issues, the venues I work with have very poor Wi-Fi. I like to organise and rename my files in a library, and I like to have the music library on my hard drive. What happens if the streaming service pulls the music? Well, yeah, you've literally put the words into my mouth as far as some of the downsides of this are. People are saying, again, don't like the internet in venues. The cheapest Beatport link subscription is 128 AAC, which is not great, although it isn't the same as 128 MP3. It's a lot better than that. But that's a good point. I think they should up that. That's not very good at all. Is there an app that scours DJ pools, record pools to download? Not that I know of, no. All right then, will this stream be available video on demand? Yes, it's available afterwards. You can watch it on YouTube and Facebook. No problem with that. SoundCloud doesn't contain as much music as Spotify. That's something we're going to get onto, actually, talking about that. Which music service is a great one for beginners? I'm just trying to see what you're saying here. Music streaming service is a great way for beginners to start DJing, and it's cheap to use. Yes, I agree completely. That was one of our points. So this is another point that I find annoying. Serato uses Tidal and SoundCloud, but you can't use both. The implementation in Serato is poor compared to the other services in my view. Rekordbox is great. Rekordbox, you can have playlists from all your different services and stuff, but Serato is not there yet. Now everyone with a streaming account is going to be like, look at me, I'm a DJ. So you've got nothing to fear from them. Why not? Let them. It's cool. You can download Tidal tracks for playing offline, says Lee. In which service, Lee? Streaming is the future. If you haven't realised that yet, then you're living in denial, says Sean. You know, it's not going to replace anything. Like Derek says, definitely, as long as radio is alive, it still has a voice. Nothing replaces anything else. They just live together, right? People are still DJing on vinyl. I think the 8-track tape player has probably been replaced, but I'm not sure that was ever quite a big thing. Alex says, I use DJ Pro with Spotify for a few events and the internet dropped out twice. Watching your playlist disappear and your tracks not load is not a good feeling. I would not recommend. All right then. So I'm going to just have a little look and see if there's anything else I want to pull out of the comments that have come in so far. And if not, we're going to go and do my 5 tips, which is really going to tie it up because a lot of you have been saying some of these things and a lot of you have been generously sharing some of the things we're talking about now. But my kind of 5 best practices, I think, I'll kind of sum all this up for you. So let's do that now. Okay, so number 1, if you're going to use streaming services, don't expect one streaming service to do everything for you. Beatport Link has got lots of underground house music on it and dance music of all types. Not so good for commercial stuff. Beat Source Link has got lots of commercial stuff, well curated, no good for underground music, no good for radio. None of the others are any good for DJ edits and stuff like that. SoundCloud Go Plus, not a big selection, not the biggest selection of mainstream music, although there's a lot on there. A great selection of unsigned and underground music and stuff you can't find anywhere else. Pros and cons there. Deezer and Tidal, they are Spotify and Apple Music light. They are also RANs in the world of Spotify and Apple Music, and they're not as good as Spotify and Apple Music, but they do have their plus points. Tidal has got hi-fi music. Deezer's got its own way of doing things. The point is, don't expect one to do everything for you. My advice is just to pick the one that's closest to what you want and what you do and learn to work around its limitations. Nothing's perfect. Number 2, if you're going to use a streaming service, make playlists. Searching through 50 million tunes with the virtual DJ search box is cool here. There, in the real world, it is not cool. It's a pain in the arse because you're going to be diving up 14 versions of every song, 8 karaoke versions, a Bon Tempi kind of 8-bit version, cover versions, and you don't want that. God, you don't want that. Make playlists of the tracks that you think you're going to want in your streaming services ahead of time. That brings in a bit more of the curation that I was talking about, and it also means that you're searching through a pre-prepared playlist, which we recommend you do anyway in all your DJing. Never turn up with all your collection uncurated for that night. Always have an idea about what you're going to play. Do the same in streaming services. Always DJ from playlists in these services. Number 3, never rely on a streaming service as your DJing platform. It's fine at a barbecue, sat with your mates around the table after a meal. That's cool. But look, if you're being paid for this or playing in public, don't rely on a streaming service for all kinds of reasons that we've covered already. Have your own core music collection that you rely on, and then the streaming services is the icing on the cake for it. Streaming services are great for discovery, great for learning about new artists, great for new genres, all the things we've talked about, but they shouldn't be the thing you're relying on in your DJing. At the moment anyway, you want to be relying on your own music. I'll tell you something that will happen. Trust me on this. You will be storing your own music, the stuff you own, in the cloud. And if you're not already doing it, you will be. And you'll be walking up to a Pioneer setup in a club, and you'll be putting a username and password in, and all your music will be there that you own. without you having to take a USB with you. As will all the music that you've put in streaming service playlists. You won't even know where the music's coming from. You'll just be dialing in and playing it. It might sound crazy now. It is coming, people. Until that time, though, you're going to need local music on a USB or that you own on a computer as your main library. Streaming services are great. Don't rely on them. Number 4, put the tracks that you add to your streaming service playlists through the same scrutiny you would put a track through if you were going to buy it. Back to my playlist pyramid in the book. Listen to them. Decide if you actually want to DJ with them or they're just music you like for some other part in your life. Have another listen to them and make double sure that they're good enough. Are they just like something else in your collection and that's why you like the tune? Is there really something new about it? If you had to kick a tune out of your music collection to put this new tune in, would you do it? These are the kind of questions you should be asking when you're buying music, and these are the kind of questions you should be asking when you're adding music to your streaming playlists to play out in venues. If you're not doing that, you're not putting enough scrutiny into it, and you need to put more scrutiny into it, because otherwise you're going to be getting lazy and playing music that is not as good as stuff that you would have bought. Really important point. And my 5th point, get a streaming service anyway, folks, if you haven't got one, because they are brilliant for day-to-day music discovery. If you do a few things with your streaming service, you will discover music that you would otherwise never have discovered. Don't let it replace crate digging. Don't let it replace going to your favorite download pool. Don't let it replace discovering unsigned artists on SoundCloud. Don't let it replace following your favorite labels on Beatport and buying music from there. But let me tell you how it works. You go into your streaming service and you listen to a few artists who you like, or some compilation albums from your favorite labels or whatever. And you like those albums. If you've got albums that you like, click like on the album. Great. Now the streaming service is getting an idea of what you like. If you want to DJ with individual tracks, click like on those tracks too. And there's a few things you can do now. On a track that you like, especially a new track that you didn't know you liked from an artist you didn't know, click make radio station from track. Now it's going to give you a load of music that you haven't heard before, probably haven't heard before, similar according to its algorithms to the track that you click that on. Click like on some of those as well. And basically keep doing this, keep liking music by clicking that like button. And then the streaming services tend to give you playlists. So I'll talk about Spotify, for instance. I'm talking about music discovery now, not DJing. Talking about Spotify, it gives you a Discover Weekly and a New Releases playlist, and it gives you 6 extra playlists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 8 playlists that it will refresh every week for you of music it thinks you might like. Just listen to them. Have them on in the background. You don't have to like any of that music. You don't even have to be concentrating. Every now and then you'll think, what's this? And go running over, click like. In the end, you're going to have a whole load of tracks with like clicked on them. You can listen to those on a Saturday morning and you can say, which ones of these are good enough for my DJ set? Why did I like them? All those questions I was talking about. Go and buy the tracks that you really liked. Add them to your normal collection. There you go. You've got a whole pile of great new tunes to DJ with that you don't need a streaming service for, but the streaming service helped you to get them. That's how I use a streaming service. It's just another music discovery tool, and as a fun tool a lot of the time. The number of times we've ended up using streaming services on a phone or on an iPad just to have fun at parties, at private parties, is huge. It's got to be better than everyone trying to Bluetooth in to a speaker and play YouTube videos over a Bluetooth speaker, right? Which is what often happens. So they're my 5 reasons, or 5 best practices for using streaming services. Don't expect one to do everything. Learn the one you've got and live with its limitations. Make playlists and use those. Don't just try and DJ from the whole service. There's too much crap on there. Don't rely on it on its own. Use it as an extra on top of your collection. Put any tracks that you want to play from a streaming service through exactly the same criteria you would put tracks through if you were going to buy them. And number 5, buy them anyway. Use the service to discover music and buy what you like. But I think every DJ nowadays should have a streaming service in their lives. All right then. Maybe next week we'll talk about the big streaming services and the way they're implemented in software. We'll just see how well this goes down. Candidly, I'll just check on the YouTube views halfway through this week, and if it looks like this has resonated with the wider audience, we'll do it again next week with part 2. But anyway, we've got a big article coming up on the website all about this stuff, so look out for that as well. I want to just get some more comments from you guys and girls, and I want to tell you about a new course that we have coming, which is really exciting for us. We've nearly finished it. So let's do all that now. Comments and then chat about the course. And I'll tell you how you can be one of the first people to know about the course and get that early bird private discount pricing that we don't offer in public. So that's all coming up in a second. But first, your comments on what we just talked about. All right then, guys and girls. Greg just says, this is great news. I don't know what's great news, but that's awesome. The loss of Spotify has killed algorithm DJ, and the DJ 200, said Keith. It certainly hurt a lot of people, that, the loss of Spotify. Dale says, hello, I'm a beginner DJ. I do charity discos. I download and rip CDs from my music and my own playlist. I'd like to learn much more on how to mix music. If anyone can help, it would be much appreciated. You're in the right place. That's what we teach. We have a course called DJing Made Easy, which can help you with that. But anyway, Nikita, Tidal on Den and Go. I had an amazing experience playing a 1 hour old school mix on a wedding, completely streaming everything with semi-fast Wi-Fi, but prepared the track list in the app in advance, so it's really good that you said that. I had an amazing time with all the big kind of names in DJ tech and teaching, people like Mojax, my mate Jamie from Crossfader, who else? Declan from DJ Magazine, who else was there? My mind slips now. Anyway, Dan from DJ Tech Tools, and we all went to a poolside venue in Miami with the DJ, this little thing, the Prime Go, and they plugged it in to Tidal, and they had a wireless speaker and said, off you go, folks. And everyone was just DJing with it for fun. And that's what it's all about, you know. Why not? I think having this stuff built into gear, and I can guarantee you, by the way, this is about $1,000. 2 years. Give it 2 years. You'll be able to get something smaller and lighter than this with built-in Wi-Fi that you can stream from your streaming service for half that price, maybe less. It's going to go mainstream, folks, whether you like it or not. Greg just says, your brain is great. I love learning about how to DJ. You're very welcome. It's what we do. It's what my life's work is. All right then, I don't want a real job. Anyway, next topic, Delmar. This is a great topic. Have an alternative to enhance your experience as a broadcaster. As an example, an outlet with a podcast or broadcast via audio on various radio stations. You'll have endless possibilities to play new tracks. Good idea, you know. Make a reason for playing all these tracks you're discovering. Live streaming is a big one, right? We've been live streaming since lockdown, as so many people have, and it's changed everything at Digital DJ Tips. We've absolutely loved it. So, all right then. I loved watching my friends DJ live from home before a few of them quit 2 years ago. I wish they were still DJing, but no, I'm sorry to hear that. Anyway, tune into our DJ sets on Sundays. We're always here for you, Garrett. All right then. Funky Ink Mobile Disco says, buy compilations on Amazon to expand your library. Then you own them and you can use them on any format. Oh yeah, we recommend that. If you're starting out in DJing, buy compilations. It's the cheapest way to get lots of new music. Agree completely. All right then. Tidal is the best sound quality on hi-fi uncompressed sound files. Beatport is compressed, but they've promised they're working on streaming uncompressed in the future, says Joe Kim. Thank you very much for that. Mike is agreeing that the cloud is the future. I really think it is, having our private music in the cloud. I mean, you can already do it with Rekordbox, can't you? Put your music in Dropbox and you can just access it inside Rekordbox that way. All right then, I'm going to stop now, even though there have been some amazing comments and I didn't get near to reading anything like all of them out. Thank you very much, everyone. It's obviously been a good topic for you. One thing I did want to tell you about was our forthcoming course. Now, before we go into what that course is, what you need to do is go there. DJ, it ruins it, doesn't it, when I put my hands behind it? Kind of makes it not real. It's not real, people. It's just an overlay. Go there, djtips.co/join. And sign up for Digital DJ Tips if you're not already a member. It's free. You get our newsletters, you get our offers, and that's the important thing, because our new course is going to be offered only to people on our mailing list first, and it's not going to be offered to anyone else for several months. So if you want to get our new course and you want to get it at the member-only offer that we always do privately, after I've told you about it, of course, you have to be on that list. So if you're not already on our list, why not get on it? You also, by the way, get a free copy of this. Just for joining our list, you get a thank you copy of this, and you get a DJ gear guide. So look, why not, folks? Sign up, and we'd love to have you as our latest free member insider. All right then, so what's the course? The course is called House Mixing Mastery. And it's a course exclusively about how to mix house music. Now, we have got several very, very popular mixing courses. We've got Mixing Power Skills, which is all the clever stuff beyond beat mixing. And it really does contain some mixes that you could not pull off without digital gear. We've got Mixing Mastery, which is like a cookbook to add on to Mixing Power Skills to give you more of that kind of stuff. But one thing we've always wanted to do, because at heart, we support DJing of all types. We work with DJs who DJ in all styles. But one thing that's in my heart is house music. It's what got me into DJing, what got me into buying Technics. And the same with Steve, who's my business partner. What got him into this was house music, although he's got a big hip hop scratch side to his DJing as well. So we thought, why not make a course just about DJing house music? So we have. It's from the ground up, everything you need to know to do a really, really good job of playing not only house, but all the 4/4 styles. So house, garage, techno, trance, tech house, anything with that thudding 4/4 beat. Well, that's what the course is about. It's called House Mixing Mastery. It's scheduled to go live at the end of this month. And if you want to be one of the people who's invited privately to have that course at the end of the month at a much lower rate than it's going to be sold for when it goes public in many months' time, then what you have to do is be on that list, and then we can tell you all about it. Okay, so that is the forthcoming course. When are you doing a goth mixing course? Says Alex, the goth mariner on Mixcloud. I don't know, Alex. Maybe we can talk to you about partnering up for that one. So thank you for that, Alex. And hello to everyone over on Mixcloud, by the way. It's good to have you here. We can't drag your comments onto the screen yet, but it's awesome to have you here anyway. I do appreciate you. And there were quite a few people there today on Mixcloud, so that's good to see. Phil is also a contemporary comedian, says Vil Teleriver. Yeah, not a very good one. I don't think that joke will have, real comedians quaking in their boots, worrying about their jobs. Mind you, not many of them can DJ. Right, on that point, I'll stop wibbling on, let you go. Thank you very much for joining us. Get good, folks. Get out there, make the moments, and I'll see you next week for what looks like part 2. Which DJ streaming service should you use and why? So until next week,